Okay, I am live. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day, everybody. Hello, Sistah Girls. It's been a minute. For those of you who don't know me and might have missed me, my name is Saida Gordon. I am one of the members of the Sistah Girl Book Club. Some of y'all know me. It's been a minute, and so I feel so blessed to join you guys on this wonderful Wednesday evening. Okay. I know some of y'all see the smoke going. It's really incense. We about to enter a new year. And so we gotta put the zhuzh in the air, right? So sisters burning a candle and some sandalwood because we trying to clear the space. Okay. So tonight we have an awesome conversation. I'm really just so excited about our guest for today. But before we get into it, how y'all doing out there? I hope everybody is well and in good spirits. We almost at the end, y'all. 2020 did a ting, all right? And I know many of us are like, I'm ready for that newness. I'm ready for that reset. I'm ready for 2022 to come in. And some of us are like, listen, 20 was a shit show. 21 was the sequel. And we hope in 22 is a whole new situation. So listen, if some of y'all are like that, I am not at all mad at y'all. But what I will say is that I am just super excited to be with all of you here tonight. We have an amazing conversation. We have so much to talk about. I think it'll be so relevant for so many of you. Tonight we have Dr. T Bassett. Yes, like Angela Bassett, and no, they are not related, y'all. I asked her because I heard Bassett. I'm like, my girl, you know my girl Angie? And she was like, nah, yo, we not related. It just be a happening. So here we are, y'all. Yes, we have Dr. T Bassett here today, and she is going to be talking about her new book that is coming out actually tonight, called the 21-Day Reset: Assessing and Adjusting Your Mindset to Accomplish Your Goals. It was a mouthful, y'all, so you have to put it on a sticky because I didn't want to mess up my good sis stuff. So again, it's your 20-day reset, assessing and adjusting your mindset to accomplish your goals. And I think that considering the year that we've all had and everything that has gone on, I'm pretty sure this will be necessary and needed for all of you. And so I encourage you guys, if you're not doing anything this evening, or if you are, get a pen, get a paper, get some popcorn, get your little juice, your little water so you can hydrate, and tune in because we about to have a discussion. We about to talk. We about to get into it. And it's been a while since I'm going live because life has been lifing, okay? Somebody said that day, life has been lifing, and I've been running with it all year because it just made so much sense. So I'm saying it to you. Life has been lifing, but we give thanks, okay? We give thanks for life, health, continued wellness, prosperity, and blessings. And so, again, I'm hoping that everyone is able to connect with us this evening and is as excited as I am about this discussion, and that you buy the book, okay? Because we want to support our good sis, all right? And yeah, so we're waiting right now for Dr. Bassett to come. She behind the scenes, getting herself together. So in a couple minutes, we're going to start. So please feel free to come into the room. She's ready. We're going to let her in. I just got the okay. And so we're going to welcome Dr. Bassett into the space. Okay. Hello, hello.
Hello. How are you, sis?
Ooh, yes. Hello, sis. Hi, sis. All
How
right.
are you? How's everything?
Everything is well. Okay. So, for those of y'all who don't know, But you need to know this is Dr. Shantae. I call her Shantae because I'm from the
Yes.
Bronx. She likes when I call her Shantae, right? So this is Dr. Shantae Bassett. No, she's not related to Angela. I asked her, but you never know. It might be a little lineage there. We don't know, y'all.
Never know. Never know.
That we don't know, okay? And she is a doctor of psychology, okay? Yes, let's give it the claps for the doctors, okay? Razzle dazzle on that, all right? And so she is coming on this evening to talk to us about her book, the 21-day reset, y'all. 21-day reset, okay? Assessing and adjusting your mindset to accomplish your goals, okay?
Yeah,
That's a mouthful,
it
which
is.
means it's gonna be plentiful, right? If it takes like a 30 seconds to say it, that means you're getting a lot of sustenance out of this, all right?
I like that.
Right? Okay, sis, all right. That's not the one, that's the one, but not the two. There we go. All right. And so we are welcoming her to the space. We are so honored to have you. Um, and so, I'm gonna give you the floor because sis, we need to know who you are. I mean, I heard the name in the streets. I've heard nothing but good things. But for the people them that don't know, we
The
need to
people
tell
that.
them, the people them that don't know, okay? Please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. Tell us how we got here.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. I am Dr. T Bassett. You can call me Shantae, but in these streets, like Saida mentioned, I'm Dr. T Bassett. I'm a doctor of psychology, so I'm a psychologist. I currently work at a college in the city of New York. I have two children. Hopefully, they're watching. Hi, Yair and Taya. And what else? I am a pastor. I am an author. Wow, it sounds amazing to say that. Before I was a co author, now I'm an author. Also, an entrepreneur. Saida is wearing one of my shirts, which was very surprising to me. Yes, you look great, sis. Uh, One of the words I've heard lately is multi hyphenate, and sound basically somebody who does a little bit of everything. And that's where I am. And right now I'm in the author space. So it is definitely an honor to be here. I know that Sistah Girls book club is like world renowned. So it's definitely an honor to be here with you. So thank you for hosting my book launch.
Listen, we thank you for having you. It's just wonderful to have you here in this space. Also, you didn't mention you were Queens girl, okay? Like you
Oh,
gotta.
sorry. Hashtag Queens get the money. I'm sorry. Shout out to Queens. I currently live in Connecticut, but I am Queens born and bred. Yes.
Okay, yes.
Shout out to Queens.
The thoroughness that you come from one of the five boroughs adds a little zhuzh.
You know what? You're right. You're right. I'm bringing some of that thoroughness to Connecticut. It's all good. It's all
You know
good.
what I'm saying? We crossing state lines. So
Yeah.
I had to mention that. Okay. So Dr. Tay, can you talk to us about this book? So you have this book, The 21-Day Reset.
Mm-hmm.
And it's coming at, as I was telling our people that are viewing, hey people, welcome. Hey, hi, how y'all doing? I was telling the people as they were coming in that that this is so timely,
Mm-hmm.
considering I won't even say the year, I would say the last 2 years have
Yes.
been with the
It's all
ongoing
lumped together.
pandemic.
Folks don't know
Yeah,
what the day of
yeah,
the
yeah.
week is, what year it is. Mm-hmm.
Right. I call 2020 the movie and 2021 the sequel. So,
I like that.
um, I'm hoping 2022 is a whole new, we not doing remakes. This is it. We hoping this is it.
Yeah. This
So
is
in
not
the
about to
spirit,
be Fast and the Furious with like 9 installations. What we're not
no,
going to do is that.
no, it's not going to be the end of the world as we know it, part three
Right.
next year. No, we're not doing that. But what I would like for you to kind of talk to us about is like, what is the significance of this book? So why the 21-day reset? Why right now? Why releasing it today of all days? Like, just talk to us about this book and how you came about it.
Okay. So, backstory, let's start from the very beginning. I used to be a radio show host on a Christian hip hop radio show. So, that kind of forced me to create my like public figure, social media, and all of that. And in January of 2018, I had the idea of doing a 21-day reset. And to be honest with all of you, I winged it. So each day it was like a new download from God, and it was just like, okay, so we're gonna do this. Okay, and this is day 21. And at the end of it, I told everyone, you know what, this is going to be a book. Yay! Everyone's excited. And then a hush fell over Jerusalem. There was no book, and it was because I was scared. Like I had the content on social media, but I was scared to put it out there because I'm not an author. Like, I'm a psychologist. This is not my lane. So fast forward, I was in church. I represent the Excelling Church, New York City campus. And my pastor was preaching, and he said that the best gift that you're going to open this Christmas is the gift that is in you. And I don't know what it was about that part that really lit a fire under me. So as he was preaching, Pastor, I wasn't texting, I promise. As he was preaching, I went onto Instagram and started to pull the content from 4 years ago. Pulled the content and copy and pasted it into my notes app on my phone. And that was Sunday, not this past Sunday, but the Sunday prior. So I went from having, I'd say 75% of a book to launching a book today. So that's the significance of today. It's that everything came together and today it happened, like literally. Everything has just been a whirlwind, but like God really lit that fire under me, and it's just like I got to do it. I have 3 books. Well, I had 3 books that were unfinished. All have covers because I also do some graphic design. All have covers, but they weren't finished. But this is my first book that is complete. It got a cover, but it also has some words on the inside. So that's like the backstory. I wanted to help everyone like restart, reset, because everyone talks about new year, new me, but then we keep saying the same thing every new year because we're setting these goals, but we're not shifting our focus. We're not changing our mindset so that we can actually attain those goals. So that's the one and not the two.
Oh, see, look at you. You see how I like, we laying that little razzle dazzle and it just
Yes,
lays
it's the
over.
razzle dazzle for me. It's the razzle dazzle.
Yeah, it lays over very nicely. I love what you're saying because we hear this idea of resetting, right? Like, oh, I need to reset. And I think what happens to a lot of us is we all, me included, we get to this time of the year where we're doing things like we're cleaning our house, we're getting rid of everything. So we're
Yes.
doing physical resets, right?
Mhm.
So we're clearing out our space because we like, for some of us, it's clearing out our space. It may be clearing out, our life of people, places or situations or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's constant clearing out and renewing that happens right around this time. And it usually happens like right after Christmas. And I think it's
Yes.
because everybody is in a frenzy, like, oh my God, the new year is coming and I'm not ready. I
Right.
am not ready. And it's almost like we treat the new year, these last couple of days, like it's the end of the world and I got to stock up and get
Yep. Stock
right
up, get
before
right, eat healthy, wash my
everything.
clothes,
Wash my,
cook some black
cook
eyed
some food,
peas.
cook collard greens. Those ritual girl. You know the rituals, right?
Yes.
Burn the
Mhm.
sage. I was telling everybody I gotta,
Yep.
the little smoke coming here is not marijuana. It's incense. I'm just, for
And
the
even if
people
it was,
that's
it's legal. I'm just saying.
it is legal, but that's not what I'm participating in tonight.
Right.
But the incense is here with the candles, the smell goods, because also, clearing out our space. We all have our ritualistic things that
Right.
we do to enter into a new year, right? But then what happens is the new year comes, we be
Mm.
all hyped, and then it's somewhere between January 1st and January 31st, the drop off happens, right? I call it
Somebody
the
say
hype.
the drop off.
It's the drop off. All right.
Mhm.
Turn to your neighbor and say the drop off.
The drop
The
off.
drop off. Right. And so it happens, and then we completely forget. And so I am curious to hear from you, like people who do purchase this book, how do you stay motivated when you're doing this 21-day reset? Like, can you keep doing day 7 over and over again? Like, I'm curious about that. So can you talk a little bit about that?
That is a great question. And I'm so glad that you asked. First of all, how do you stay motivated? one thing that I love about the book, it's not just a read me until you're finished type of book. There are lines in the book. It's meant to be a workbook. You can highlight, you can write in the margin, you can write on the lines, write on the back, back cover if you need to. I mean, my picture might be on there, so right around it. But do what you need to do with this book so that you can get where you need to go. Is it going to only take you 21 days? There are certain chapters where I say, don't get discouraged if you stay on this page for a few days. The number 21, and a lot of people think, oh, it takes 21 days to establish a habit. That's not so. It's a misinterpretation of research. It's a lot more complicated than that. But people latched onto that information and accepted it as fact because 21 days, that's not so bad. It's not quite a month. It's 3 weeks. It's palatable. Like people can latch on to 21 days and it be okay. I'm thinking about like the Daniel fast when you do the New Year's fast at church, right? 21 days, that's palatable. Like I can do that. I got this. 40 days, it's just like, we going into the wilderness with that one. So 21 days, it's palatable for people as far as time is concerned. So that's why I chose 21 days. Another reason, there's 3 sections to the book. The first section is the mind work. So that's when you get rid of your stinking thinking and you're adjusting your reset. The second portion is the written work. So now that you've changed your thought patterns, now you're going to write down how you're going to accomplish this goal. And the last part is the resource section. So we can plan, we can have these goals and set plans, but if we don't have access or don't even realize what resources that we need, then we're setting ourselves up for failure. So it's 7 days, 3 sections, just worked out that way.
I love this. It just, girl, yes. I love when an idea comes together. I love when, we have these like epiphanies of these ideas about stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't say that they've forgotten, they just marinate in, like a good stew,
Yes.
just marinating, just waiting for all the flavors and everything to kick in so it can be served. And it kind of sounds like the book is ready to be served.
I like that.
You
I like
know,
that. It's ready to be served. Yep.
you know,
It's been on the back burner long enough, marinating, stewing, but it's time.
It's time. Yes, it's time. And so let's talk about time, right? Let's talk about time, right? So I heard you say you're a woman of the cloth.
I did, in not so many words. Yes.
Yes, we caught that. So I just want you to know when you say things over here, and that's the trained clinical ear of myself.
Here for the clinical ear.
The clinical ear. Excuse me. Let me turn my therapeutic voice on. So, Dr. Dr. Tay, we caught that little piece about being a woman of the cloth. And so, how much of your walk or your spirituality or faith is embedded in this book or this project? And if it is, why? Like, why did you feel that was so relevant and so important?
That is another great question. And you know what? It's embedded in everything that I do, but it might not be in your face. Like if you open this book, you're not going to be like, oh, this is a pastor writing it and she's throwing a book at me with every scripture. No, but some of the concepts are spiritual in nature. So the first section is talking about your mind and changing your mindset. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Let this mind be in you as is also in Christ Jesus. So these are concepts that are part of my life and also part of my work that are transitioned into the book, but I don't have Bible quotes everywhere because I believe that you can minister to people and be a witness to people without throwing, not literally, hopefully not, that's assault, but without throwing the book at them. You know what I mean? Because the word calls us to be living epistles. So that means that I don't have to tell you I'm a preacher, I'm a pastor, I'm a this, I'm a that, and I know this King James and I know that version. No, but if it's in me, thy word have I hidden in my heart that I might not sin against thee. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. These are all scriptures, things that we might have heard, but because it's here, it's going to come out in everything that I do. So no, it's not a Bible-based text, but you're going to, if you are a believer and you know your word, you're going to be like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, all right. So yeah, I'm a pastor, yes, but that's not what I'm leading with. But it bleeds on the pages. It would bleed on the pages whether I wanted to or not.
Oof. I don't know about y'all, but I just had church just now.
I can't.
And so please let me know where I can send my tithe and offering. Okay. I
You're a
just
mess.
had church. And so I don't need to go next Sunday or the Sunday after because this
You're a
gonna
mess.
cover me. This
I
gonna
can't.
cover me. This covers me, this covers me.
You're a mess.
I'm just joking, but I might be serious. But I am just joking.
Well, with the numbers, you can attend church virtually. Amen and praise God because
Oh, listen, here we go.
the
All
pandemic
right,
is not
Pastor. We go
over.
to the next question because she hit me with but church is virtual now.
Bedside Baptist ain't never been like this before. I'm just saying.
It's a new age of everything, right?
Absolutely.
Listen, it's like church on your bedside. You don't even got to get dressed. You can still have a coal in your eye. Listen, if you could click the same way you wake up, I don't know many of you, I don't wake up, turn the Instagram on, you have one eye open, but you want to see what's the picture and you close it, you do the same thing. So
Straight like
yes,
that. Yep.
I hear and receive that. So thank you so much for that one. Yes, yes, yes. And so I love so many of the concepts behind this book because I feel like we're living in a world where we're putting so much pressure on ourselves to succeed, and we're not always making our expectations realistic.
That's so true. Yep. I want to lose
It,
100 pounds in 50 days. Like, it's not realistic.
yeah, just chew on gum and like, yeah, that's quite possible. That is like, we set these really high standards and expectations for ourselves, which I don't believe there's anything wrong with those things, but I
Right.
do think those things can be very hazardous
Mm-hmm.
to keeping ourselves motivated and also to being kind to ourselves. I think that if the this year and the year before has taught us anything, not only to be kind to others, but to be gentle with ourselves. And I love
Yeah.
how this book and how it's framed, although it's pushing you to challenge yourself, it's also pushing the message of, but take care of you, be
Yes.
kind to you, be gentle with you, be patient with you. And I'm just curious to hear from you, like, why did you feel that was so important to like, because when we doing 20-day reset, you could be like, all right, we're gonna do this, and you're gonna do this, and you're gonna do this. But there was so much affirming and validation of people in each day and section. I just felt that was just so powerful. Okay, so can you talk to us a little bit about the significance of that?
Well, one thing is that when we go into setting goals, the goals that we set are not always for ourselves. And I'm not talking about like if you're a parent, then you're setting goals so that you can, lay a firm foundation for posterity and for your children and your children's children. No, I'm not talking about that. But sometimes we live life carrying the weight of other people.
Mm.
People living vicariously through us. So we have to uproot all of that stuff and do the self work, the inner work before we can set goals. Because if we don't do that, then we end up setting goals that aren't even our own. Like I'm thinking about Drumline and the young lady who was Nick Cannon's love interest. She was studying, I believe, law, but she wanted to major in dance. She was living the dreams that her parents had for her. She was striving toward a goal that wasn't even hers. And by the end of the movie, it's old enough. I think I can give the spoiler alert. But by the end of the movie, she majors in dance, right? You have to first assess what you desire, what your priorities are, and then you can move forward. And a lot of people don't realize that. So I think that's probably one of my favorite parts of the book. And that's possibly because I'm a psychologist. You have to do the mental work first. You have to change your thinking. You have to reverse your negative automatic thoughts and all of those things before you can move forward in a positive way.
Okay, yes to the CBT, the cognitive behavioral therapy technique embedded in the book. Saw what
Yeah.
you did there too.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But what that piece that you're talking about, I think really speaks to the fact that a lot of us have a calling placed on our lives. And it may not be some of us, it may not be a spiritual calling. It may be just a
Right.
calling to be creatives, a calling to be singers, dancers. I always felt that I'm a social worker by trade. And I love my job, but I always felt like I was called to also get into tech. right?
Ooh.
Because I'm really good with technology and I've always been able to figure things out. But, my mind has always led me to, be a woman of the people. Like and so I think that is so affirming that I think all of us go through that we choose one path in life and
Mhm.
we stick to that path and we barely, and sometimes we really don't deviate from it for many reasons. One being it may be too hard to go back because you already invested so much time in this one thing that you've done. The other one, the reference that you made to the movie could definitely be that, our loved ones are cheerleading their wishes for
Yeah.
our life. And
Mhm.
we may not feel strong enough to say, actually, I want this.
Right. Right.
And I think that happens to a lot of, and let's be clear, a lot of Black and brown young people, because
Mhm.
if you coming from a situation, depending on your household or your economic situation, you may be forced to go in one direction because that you may be the one that's going to save the family,
Yeah.
or you
Ooh.
may be the one that's going to continue the legacy, right? And so the deviation is like, I actually really want to do this, but my mom and them told me I was supposed to be this.
Right.
So, and if I'm the one that's going to save us all out of poverty, then I'm a stick to this, right?
Right. Right.
Um, and I think that 2020 and 2021, we saw a lot more people stepping out of the labels that were placed on us and coming more into what we saw for ourselves. And I think it's because we had so much time at home.
Yep. With
We had
ourselves. With
with
ourselves, with our
ourselves.
thoughts, with the things that we don't like. Life became a mirror because you couldn't help but see yourself. You weren't around anybody else. We had to shelter in place for how long? Over a year? Yeah. So people were forced, like, okay, what am I going to do? A lot of entrepreneurs were birthed during a pandemic. Why? Because you were left to your own devices with your ideas. And it's just like either I'm going to let them continue to sit here, a la your 21-day reset, because it sat for 4 years,
Hmm.
or I'm going to do something with it.
I'm curious to hear from you. You said there's a mirror. So, what did your mirror show you about yourself that led you to where you're at right now?
Oh, girl, you can interview me anytime. These are great questions. Um,
I does this. Go
fear,
ahead.
fear. Like I had to really come face to face with the fact that I allow fear to overcome me. Yes, the psychologist is scared. Like, well, apply your coping techniques and all that. Yeah, it sounds good sometimes, but when you're in the midst of a pandemic and you're in the house schooling two children, working and counseling people and all of that, I realized that I was thriving in those areas because I was fearful of doing what I wanted to do for me, for fear of failure. That's
Mhm.
why this book sat for almost exactly 4 years because I was fearful. I got on live and said, "Oh, I'm going to make this a book," because I already had the content. It made sense. But what held me back? Fear. But it's significant because it's been 4 years, and the number four symbolizes creation.
Mm.
So it almost seems like talking about callings, it had to happen in this time, in this season.
Hmm. Hmm. Listen, I'm stuck on words, and I'm a woman of pretty a lot of words, a lot of words. I think fear. I think fear is its own. Fear has a way of putting a chokehold on you, but it's very
Mm,
it's very
oh,
invisible, right? And it's I say a chokehold because it will literally clam you up in situations, and you almost feel frozen,
yes,
right?
absolutely.
Frozen
Mhm.
in time, which is so significant because,
Hashtag no Elsa.
girl, that's the one,
And
all
not the
right,
two.
and not the two. Okay. And so yeah, I think that fear will definitely, have this crippling effect on you. And so What do you say to those people who right now fear is gripping them and they want to step out? They want to like, I want to do my book. I want to write that song. I want to paint that picture. I want to, I want to start that business. What do you say to those people?
First, recognize and accept it. You might be fearful, but not willing to accept the fact that your fear is holding you back, because we're supposed to be strong, we're supposed to be thriving even in the midst of a pandemic and all of these other cliches and maxims that have come up in the last 2 years. First, accept the fact that you're fearful. Next, identify what you are fearful of. Like, I had to go through that in therapy. Yes, therapists, they have therapy too, y'all. What was I fearful of? And I really had to dig, and the fear was of failure. But sis, like, you got a doctorate, like, you got 4 degrees in 8 years. What are you fearful? Yes, of failure. Because what if it's a saturated market? What if, the book isn't received? What if, I don't write well, or I don't use the King's English, or all of these what ifs. Once you realize what your fear is, then you are better equipped to address it. And one of the roots of my fear of failure is that I've been told that I write poorly. So writing is extremely difficult for me. This is huge. Being on this platform, launching my first book, knowing that I have 2 others that are not finished, that will be finished, it's huge for me. Because all these years, from high school all the way to my doctoral program, I was told that you don't write well. Dissertation and all, which has to be written, you don't write well. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna write. But once you've accepted it and you recognize what the root of your fear is, you can address it. I had to write this book. It had to be now, because it's what in psychology we call it exposure therapy. You're not going to face your fear or address your fear of something unless you come face to face with it. I had to come face to face with my fear. But the book is written. It's going to go live in about 30 minutes. And who's going to check me, boo?
Nobody. I had someone really.
Nobody.
Nobody. Girl, don't do that. Come on, man. You're
Okay,
alive.
okay.
It's the karaoke for me, man. It's the karaoke for me. You know what? I had someone tell me one time, and it's just stuck with me all year. And it was, you don't have anything to prove to anyone but yourself. You don't have anything to prove to anyone. The only person you need to prove anything to is yourself. And it was just like, all right, whatever, Hallmark card. But, like, when I really, really processed that, what the person was really trying to say is the only standards you have to live up to is your own.
Right.
Like, like, forget what everyone else is saying, because 9 out of 10 times you got 2 people on different sides. You got the group of people that are enforcing what they want for you because they never achieved it. And so they want to see you do it. So they're vicariously living out their dreams through you, which is very dangerous, depending on what they trying to play out in you.
Exactly. That's a completely separate episode of Power.
That's another episode. That's another discussion, right? And then you got the people on the other side who, unfortunately, they want to see you doing well scares them. And so they sometimes can be very negative, not because they don't think you could do it, but because they're like, damn, if they could do it, why couldn't I achieve that? Right? And then you got your cheerleaders, right? And you have like, yo, you do it, yeah. I'm so proud of you, whatever. So you got a lot of different voices, surrounding you at that time, right? And then of course you got the people that's in front of you who, they taking the path that you've taken, and so you trying to catch up to them because you just like, yo, like, I see what you're doing, and I feel like I want the same thing. I don't want what you have, but I want to understand how the blueprint to how you got here, so I could restructure the design for myself.
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So all these different voices and all these different things, is so important to hear your own voice. I think a lot of times we don't know what we sound like.
Ooh. There's a
We
chapter in the book
don't.
about that. Mm,
We don't.
it's so true.
I
So
heard
true.
my I heard my voice for the first time this year. I'm about to be 35 in February. I heard my voice for the first time this year.
Powerful. So powerful. Wow.
And I'm curious if from you, like, what do you think it is about our own voice that scares us?
Mm, it's familiar.
Mm,
And sometimes when we need validation, we automatically look outside of ourselves.
mm,
So it's just like it's familiar, so it doesn't hold as much weight. It's just like, oh, that's the same little girl who used to play with dolls. She wanted to do hair back then, but nobody on the outside is validating her but the dolls. You know what I mean? So I think that's part of it. It's familiar, so we don't give our voice the honor and respect it deserves. So we push it to the side, we minimize it. Now, if it was somebody else, somebody on the outside saying, "Oh, you're amazing, you're so dope," and we might be more inclined to listen. But because it comes from the inside, it's almost like psychology or mental health versus physical health. If
mm,
you have a physical condition, people aren't going to say, "Oh, well, that's your fault, girl," or "Are you sure you have diabetes?" No, they're going to give you some insulin. They're going to help you address the medical, but because you can't see mental health issues,
mm,
they don't give they don't honor the struggle. So similar to that, our voice, because it's coming from within you and you don't see it on the outside, we don't always respect it.
mm, mm.
You marinating, sis.
Now, I mean, listen, because you know what? I think that these conversations are so important.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us, we think these things and we may have our own conversations, with our friends on the side or our loved ones,
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
But, we're having this conversation openly and publicly. And I'm sure there are many people, and I see some people in the comments
Mhm.
who are connecting with what we're saying, and they showing you some love. So we appreciate
Yeah.
them. Um, but they think and they feel the same way. But I think a lot of times we're so scared to say it out of fear that we'll look a certain type of way to other people, that people will no longer see us as strong, or
Mm,
they'll no longer see us, that the image that people have of us will be completely erased because we showed a level of vulnerability.
yeah. Yeah. That's so true. So true. And that's where the strong black man, the strong black woman facade comes across. And I say facade, not to say that we're not strong, but why can't we feel?
Mm,
Why can't we be vulnerable? Why don't we go that route? Because then if we cry and say we feel something deeply, oh, then I guess you're not as strong as your ancestors were. Oh, I can be. Maybe even more so, depending on what I've
mm,
gone through. But oftentimes people don't connect vulnerability with strength. I'll give you a personal story that I haven't really shared publicly. I was the president and CEO of an international nonprofit organization, like huge honor. It was an honor to be in that role. And because of my anxiety, I was doing my best at the time, but it
mm,
wasn't the best for the organization.
mm,
And I had to give a speech in a Zoom room in front of these educators whom I respected so greatly, board members, people who I formerly led. I had to tell them just what I said, just right now, that my anxiety gripped me so much so that I couldn't do simple tasks. And as I was giving that speech and crying during every other word, I saw in the chat, wow, I admire your strength. Oh, you're courageous. I appreciated that because that shows that we, even though as Westerners, we're part of this individualistic community, that we are starting to be inclined to the needs of others and the inner strength of others that
Mm,
doesn't necessarily present itself as a hard exterior. Crying in front of people, that takes strength. Bouncing back from that, that takes strength. So I think, like in the book, I talk about changing your perspective and changing your mindset. It's important for us to change how we view the societal norms and the boxes that society puts us in. Because if we change that, then we are better equipped to move forward and change things in the future for our children and our children's children and those around us and our families. We have to change the narrative.
mm-hmm. See, but what you're talking about is breaking generational curses, right? And I think that when we talk about that piece, like, breaking of a generational curse or something that has been been said, let me not say a curse, but something that has been spoken into a generation of a family, right? That is not
Mhm.
positive, doesn't speak life into them.
Yeah.
And then those people carry it through their lineage. The idea of changing the narrative is to break those things, right?
Yeah.
And I
Mhm.
think like conversations like what we have in you releasing this book, the people here in the chat that are being vulnerable and kind of talking about their own fear, like we don't realize it, but like, everything that is coming out of our mouth right now that is calling out these things that have remained hidden
Mm.
is breaking those bonds, are breaking those chains that have kept us thinking that we have no worth or no value or no substance, or we don't have a right to contribute, or we don't have a right to have a voice, or we don't have the words, or we can't write, like, or we're not well written or well spoken.
Mhm.
Those are lies.
Yeah.
Those are lies. Those are there's nothing truthful about those things. And what I love that you really touched on in our conversation this evening was about dispelling all of those myths, right? And really calling them out. I think things continue to stay alive and active when you don't call it out,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
So when
Yep.
you name it, when you say fear, when you say vulnerability, when you say failure, when you say insecurity, when you say all those words, you not just sharing pieces of yourself, you're also calling out those things that are continue to bind you,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
They say out of the mouth speaks things of life or death. It's in the tongue is life or death,
Yep.
right? And
Absolutely.
so, and it doesn't mean always a physical death. It can be like just like you're slowly dying or killing your spirit
Mhm.
by
The
some of the
spiritual.
things that come out of your mouth.
Yep. And I'm so glad that you said that. Come out of your mouth. Oftentimes,
Hmm.
when we think, the power of death and life lie in the tongue, so, that person speaks against me and they're talking about, but what about the word curses that we speak over ourselves?
Hmm.
That, like, we have to recognize that there are times when, because someone else has said these negative things to us time and time again, that we start to internalize it, and they could stop saying it, but because we're saying it to ourselves, we believe it, and that's how we function. But sometimes we need that external validation, and that's because the part that needs to be broken is on the inside. And it's just like,
Mm.
how can you war against yourself? So that's why sometimes we need that external validation, because like, that's the only way that I'm going to confront what's on the inside of me. The generational curses, the word curses, the things that I've spoken over myself, the things that were spoken over me when I was a kid. But you have to call it out. See, I can quote scripture and quote Jay-Z all at the same time. Jay-Z said, "You can't heal what you don't reveal."
Mm.
That was on the 444 album. And it's so true. You got to talk. We have to have these conversations. We have to accept that, what, maybe I do need a reset, because I've been in the house for 2 years, unemployed, marginally employed. Like, I need a reset. I need to change my mind. I need to renew my mind. I need to do something differently. I need
Mm.
to go about things a different way. We have to call those things out so that it can get done, so that we can be where we need to be, where we want to be.
Girl. No, like it just it resonates in my spirit, and I'm sure many of the people that are watching tonight. And I love that it's coming. We have 2 more days before this year is over, right? And you ever seen them shows, Supermarket Sweeper? People
Yeah.
were running through the aisles and they just putting everything in their cart, and
Mm-hmm.
they trying to get everything before the time. So then, you get to the aisle and you register and you get to get all the stuff and then the coupon or whatever the case, right? It feels like that right now, right?
Yeah.
We're supermarket sweeping life. Okay. All right. Let
That's
me
so
throw
good.
in let me throw in resilience. Oh, let me get some of that courage. Oh yeah, I need that honesty. Right, right, right. Oh, I need that truth, right? And then you kind of pull down people too. Oh yeah, I need a new man. Oh yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah, I want that house. I want that new job. Oh yeah, and yeah. Oh yeah. I want a new me. Let me drop that in there too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, after everything else.
Right. You see what you see the
After all
order.
the other stuff. Oh yeah,
Right.
and by the way,
And by
I
the
want
way,
to know me.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we trying to throw everything in the cart and rush to the register to cash out, right?
Mm-hmm. Out of
But
order. Out of
right,
order. Your cart is full, it's overflowing. So you're asking for all those things, and you might be able to fit it into your cart. But do you have the capacity to carry it all? Because we all know that shopping cart to car or vehicle or transportation transition. You put all this stuff in the cart, you're like, oh, I can carry all these bags. But no. Oh, I can make it in one trip. Not everybody is like my dad who's watching. Hey, daddy, he can put all of those bags in both fists and arms and carry. No. So you've put all this stuff in your cart, but what are you going to do with it? Do you have the
right,
ability? Are you equipped to handle all of that? And then after that, you say, oh, yeah, by the way, I need a new me. You don't have any
right.
space.
That's the one. And let me take it a step further. The people that do these shows that really follow them, they strategize before they do that
That's a
shift.
whole entire word.
They
Strategize.
strategize. They said, listen, we're gonna hit this out because we need this, we're gonna hit this out. They don't just go in. And so life needs to be treated like that. So if you're gonna want to dump
Mhm.
everything in your cart, if you're gonna ask for all these things, the universe, God, whatever you believe in, because I'm not under the assumption that everybody has the same belief, right?
Right.
But
Mhm.
I believe that we all have something that is higher than ourselves that we connect with it deeply,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
That we feel informed the way in which we show up in life, whether we want to be honest about that or not,
Mhm.
right? And so, in knowing that, right, create the strategy. So, if I want a new me, we got to be clear about, well, what does a new me mean? Because there ain't nothing wrong with the current me, right?
Mm.
Saying you want a new me is saying that who you are right now is not good enough. And that's that same line we just started talking about putting those things or saying those things over your life, or just saying, oh, I want a new me. What does that mean? So what's wrong with you right now?
Right. Right.
Like you don't think you beautiful, you don't think you shine, you don't think that there's something
Mm.
about you that already got the little razzle dazzle in you. You don't think that, right?
Right. There's a
At
difference
work.
between, I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No,
There's
go ahead,
a
baby girl.
difference between getting a new car and upgrading the one you have.
That's
Because if you get the new car, then that means that something's wrong with the old one. Even if
mm,
it's something as simple as I don't want it anymore. But if you upgrade what you got, that means there's still value. There's still value in that car. So with the whole new year, new me, maybe I just want to upgrade me. Maybe I want to shift some things, tweak some things, because no man is perfect, right? But
mm-hmm.
there's some kind of goodness in us. So we have to, again, shift our thinking and shift how we view ourselves. And that's the basis of the book. It
Yes.
doesn't say do a brain transplant and get a new brain. No, it says upgrade your thinking, renew your mindset, shift your
Right.
focus, uproot those negative things that you thought about yourself. Okay, now that we've done that, let's put in the positive things. Now that we've done that, let's move forward and plan and strategize. And after that, now we can actually plan.
There we go.
But there's an
That's the
order for
one.
everything. There's an
That's
order.
the one. And we got to remember, we always say we want to empower people, but people are not disempowered. We already have a light that is shining so bright in
Mm.
us. But because life is lifing, That light occasionally gets dimmed or overshadowed by all the other things that cloud our mind and cloud our everyday lives.
Yeah.
So I will say, to add to that piece, like, we all have power. We have amazing power in us. And so I'm really hoping that the people that get this book and tune into it, we just turning the light back on, y'all. We just turning the light back on. We relighting that flame. We reigniting that flame. All right. That's what we doing. We ain't adding nothing new.
Yeah.
You know, we already a stock full of something nice. As I
Yes.
like to say. All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
So we have about 10 more minutes left. Because, you know, me and Dr. Tay, all right? So just so y'all know, Dr. Tay is my colleague, but she is also my friend, okay? So Shantae and I talk like every day. So it's funny that we talking, y'all like, oh my God, this is so organic. Girl,
It is.
no, I talk to her every day, okay? She became my sister friend in a very short period of time, and she's been just wonderful. And so I'm just like, girl, you got a book coming out. You got to come on. You got to come to the book club. All right. You not just any book club. You got to come to the Sistah Girls book
Yeah.
club. Okay. So, hey, sis,
Hey,
welcome. All right. And so we have a couple more minutes left in today's live. I know some of y'all are like, oh my God, I just really love y'all. I love this chemistry. Don't worry. We gonna come back with another one. All right.
did you say
Mixtape.
another book? Did you just?
Another one. Nah, the mixtape
Oh,
is
I was
dropping,
like,
y'all.
okay, not the
I'm not gonna
process.
do that to you. We
I
already
appreciate
addressed.
you. Let's get this.
We we know. Relax. See, Dr. Tay, what we just said. No fear.
This
All
is
right.
true. This
That's
is
what we
true.
said. For I can do all things through Christ who.
Strengthens me. Come on here. Come
All
on.
right. We ain't go to church Saturday through Sunday from birth to 18 for nothing. Okay. Y'all know about
Right.
prayer, Bible service, prayer service, but a
Mm-hmm.
Sunday school, Sunday trip, Tuesday prayer service, shut in. Okay, let me hold on. I'm having a traumatic episode from my
I
childhood.
can't.
Okay, I'm back, y'all.
Something stuck.
I'm back. Um,
Yeah.
but yes, we are so thankful to have had you this evening, Dr. Tay. And so um we definitely want to give you a moment to kind of just share any last or remaining thoughts you have, anything you want to say to the people then about the book that's going to drop. You know, it's for the people then right now.
Yes, for the people. Then first, I want to thank Saida and the team of Sistah Girls Book Club for having me. This is like so dope, so amazing. The way things came together in such a short amount of time has just been a blessing. Like I said, I had the content, but you need people in the world to get things going. Like oftentimes we think that we live in a vacuum and that we have to do everything ourselves, but that's just not the case. And oftentimes if you're thinking that you can do everything yourself, you're setting yourself up for failure. So God sent me a web developer, and he sent me Saida, and I'm like, girl, what don't you do? You got a book club too? Like, really, sis? You know, God sent me someone who was delivering products, Christmas gifts to me, who's I think what I don't know what she dubs herself as, but she's a self-publishing maven. I
Mm,
self-published this book in a week and a half, Saida. I formatted it myself. I had someone edit because even though I can write better than those folks said, you know, sometimes you just need more than one set of eyes, right? But ordered the hard copy books, like self-publishing from start to finish.
mm.
So it's a blessing that God put people in my life at this time strategically. I thank you so much for sharing your platform with me, Saida. Thank you to all of you who tuned in. I'm seeing names of people who are tuned in on Facebook and YouTube. I thank you so much. If I go down the list, I'm going to miss people. I did shout out my daddy though, because my daddy doesn't have social media. So the fact that he's watching y'all, okay, that's a blessing. So shout out to my mom and my dad and my family for supporting me. No one knew that this was going to happen. Like, oh, you just came out of nowhere with this book, child. When God lights the fire under you, oh, child.
Girl, ain't nothing you could do.
But it's definitely been a blessing. Even though it's been 1.5 short weeks, it has been life altering. God has been the mirror and shown me my resilience, showed me that a lot of the things that I've gone through were for this moment. I literally prayed on Saturday, the Saturday before all of this unfolded. I was like, God, there's a lot of things that you've gifted me to do, but I want consistency. One thing that I've always wanted, even since I was a little girl, I want consistency. I want a
Mm.
schedule. Like I want to go to work at 9, leave at 5. And I've never had a schedule that was like that. Maybe, it's a 9 to 5, but I have to work a late day. I just wanted that cookie cutter, everything to flow. I wanted consistency. But yeah, I think he's brought me to a place where he's showing me, hey, you asked me to show you where you need to be consistent. This is it. So using my voice, and we were talking about voice, right? Using my voice, using my psychological training, and like my pastor said, using the best gift that I opened up this Christmas, which is the gift that's inside of me. And I hope it inspires and encourages all of you.
Oh, this is so beautiful. I just love it. I love all of it. I genuinely mean that. I think that we should. I hope that today's live encourages someone out there who is feels a tugging at their heart to lead in their purpose, that they would just
Mm.
take what was discussed here and that they would just step out on faith and on truth and on purpose. Because I feel like, if we all do that, we would just be led in so many dynamic places. And so,
Absolutely.
whatever I say for y'all, I say for me first. And so, I really hope that you guys all enjoyed this. Two things I want to say. So, please continue to follow the Sistah Girls Book Club. So be sure to follow us on
Yes.
Instagram, okay? Because we always doing a ting. I gotta give props to my CEO, my co-D and everything. Cherie, if you're
Not the
watching,
OD.
that's my co-D. She already know what time it is. Cherie, thank you so much. That's really my rolie. And so she started the book club and has been doing amazing things while I've been incognito for a little bit. So when I hit it up, like, I got a thing I want to do, she was like, girl, go ahead, do your thing. It's fine. Let me just give you this or whatever. And so I was just like, thank you so much. This book club has for sure changed our lives and has allowed us the opportunity to really, connect with Black independent authors such as Dr. T and give them the platform that they won't give us any other time, but we creating it, we doing
Yeah.
it. And so I give
Mhm.
props and much respect to Cherie for continuing this legacy. And so I'm just honored to continue to be a part of this. So please follow us on Instagram. Please follow us on Twitter because a tweet be going out. But we want to make sure that you follow Dr. Tay. So please be sure to follow Dr. Tay on Instagram at That's Dr. Tay. Okay, Shantae if you're nasty.
I
But
can't.
it really is
Showing your age.
right. I'm showing my age. Shh. Okay, because Janet is coming out with a documentary. Okay, in January. All right, but we're
I'm
not
here
talking about
now.
Janet right now. Okay, be sure to follow Dr. Tay on Instagram at That's Dr. Tay. And then for what y'all been waiting for, boom, a boom, pow, 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 pow. All right, to purchase Dr. Tay's book, please go to drteonline.com, y'all. It's
Yeah.
ready. It's
It is
high
ready. We are
live
live. This interview
fire.
is literally the launch. So the website is up. You can click the link. You can purchase your book. You can either buy the ebook, the hardcover, the paperback, or a signed ebook. You probably haven't heard of that before, or a signed hardcover. If you just purchase the ebook outright, you can get that right away. But the signed, I want to make that personal, so it's going to take a little time. But it's ready. Buy the book. I would like to hear what you have to say, how you're working through the book. There's other things coming, master classes, so that you can be a part of the resetters. And it doesn't just have to be for the new year. You might go through a tumultuous time in your life and realize, you know what? I need a reset. And that's what this book is for. Yes, this is a good time to launch it, but it's one of those books where you can use it at any point in your life. So I'm so excited to share this piece with you, this piece of Dr. Tay, and I'm excited to hear what you have to say about it. So let's reset.
I love that you call them the resetters. Y'all got a names like the
Yes,
Beehive, but like for
we got a
Beyonce, but
crew.
like, but for Dr. Tay, it's the resetters. Y'all like that? I like that. That's really this is listen. It's hot out the oven. It's ready. It's been cooking. It's been simmering. is
Mm-hmm.
ready to be served. You know, this book
Yes.
will, I hope that this book serves y'all. I need to purchase my copy. But see, Dr. Tay, my friend, so I have my own conversation
Yo,
with her.
sis, bring one to the job, all right?
Yeah, like just bring it, you know what I'm saying? My birthday coming up, Aquarius
Mm-hmm.
gang, just slide it in real quick, a little
I
gift
got
card.
you. I got you.
You know, but that's the
Maybe
perks
I'll
of.
hit you up with another The King Says shirt. We'll
Oh
see
yeah,
what we
yeah,
can
yeah.
do
Oh
to
yeah.
get
Let me make sure y'all see this. All right. So Dr. Tay also, she's not talking about all her gifts, right? But Dr. Tay has a shirt line called The King Says. Okay. And so listen, this is so timely because this is from Jeremiah 29:11. And so again, it says, "For I know the plans I have for you." So Dr. Tay did a spin on it and put, "You have the planet, but I have the plan." And how dope is that, right? So if you go to Dr. Tay's website or if you follow her on Instagram, like I told y'all already, do what I tell y'all. Life will be very simple if people would just listen to me. But that's a whole nother segment and episode. But
Oh,
for the purposes of this conversation, if you do what I told y'all and purchase the shirt, all right, now I'm part of the resetters. All right, I'm already resetting. All right, I'm aligning with the plan. Hallelujah. Right, I'm gonna do my old, yeah, for my quickening
not the
now.
quick one. Not
Got
the
the
quick one,
got the
sis.
quickening. Dr. Tay can't stand when I do that, but I go like,
I
oh,
can't.
I be like,
I can't.
hey, right?
Almost.
But we love you guys. What I want to do is as we close this out, because we at the 1 hour mark. I want to wish everybody a safe and happy new year.
Yes, Happy
We
New
know
Year.
that Omarion and the B2K virus
I
is still
can't.
very, very active in the streets. I don't listen, y'all. It's a
She knows
pandemic.
it's Omicron, y'all. I promise. She's
I
an
know it's
educated Black
Omicron, but
woman.
it's
She knows.
Omarion B2K virus, as far as I'm concerned. B2K is rampant out here and the virus is spreading. And
Yes.
so
Be
I know
careful.
we don't like to make light of these things, but in the time and the age that we live in, I believe that humor heals us at a time when we may be feeling despair. So I hope no one took offense to that. But yes, the virus is still very much active out there. So I encourage everybody to please keep your mask on, keep your distance.
Yes.
Love. This is the perfect time to love people from a distance. Remember that? Remember
Yes.
that saying? And
Oh,
you was
yes.
just saying it because you ain't want to mess with nobody nice because I don't want what you got, right?
Right.
So
Exactly.
I don't want what you got. You don't want, yeah, that one.
I
So
can't.
keep a distance. And so I wish everyone a safe and blessed and prosperous new year. And as we fill up our carts with all the things that we desire, please remember you do not need a new you because the you that is in you is perfect and divinely ordained by God. And so we love y'all and we just cherish y'all and we just hope to see all of you well and in good spirits and resetting in 2022. And
Yeah.
on that note, good
Bye,
night.
everyone. Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.